It is Wednesday, the 21st day of May, 2025, and I have to again talk about Bill Belichick. Yesterday, the New York Times put out an article about Bill, about his ongoing dalliances, I guess, is for the lack of a better term, with his girlfriend, Jordan, Jordan Hudson. Now, this comes on the heels of the great Pablo Torre and his program. Pablo Torre finds out, which, full disclosure, I am a fucking Pablo Torre stan. I love his show. It is everything that I wish my show could be, if I had time, money, and a staff. But if you're going to listen to another podcast, that's the one you should be listening to. Pablo Torre finds out. It's absolutely dynamite. Now, there will probably be some folks on the right side of the aisle that get all huffy and puffy about it because it's, telling stories about shit that's accurate and truthful and, you know, all of that stuff. However, he had a podcast the other day where he uh, talked about how he had 11 sources, 11 sources to talk about the Bill and Jordan relationship. And normally, more full disclosure, I am not one of these gossip type people where I'm not into stories like this usually. But this to me, one, it's a local story. Two, it's a sports story. And three, it's just outright fascinating because he's 73, she's roughly 24. He is without a doubt one of the at least three best head coaches in the history of the NFL, or just coaches, right? Because I mean, if you got to include his time when he was DC of the NYG, but man, like all of this stuff that's going on is just so fucking funny. And it just makes no fucking sense to me. I shouldn't even say that, right? I shouldn't say it doesn't make sense. And this is a very long open. So you know what I'm gonna do? Yeah. I'm gonna cut it off because I want to keep going. But I'm gonna talk about Bill. I'm also gonna talk about the great city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Talk about Massport, kidney stones, snack foods, bad tattoos, ride shares, airlines, and sadly the Boston Celtics. All that and way more for Yins on episode number 187 of Complaints and Observations.
Still, a voyage into the mundane and an exercise in futility. Swimming in the absurd while drowning in unearned self-importance. Entirely unworthy of your time. It is the world's worst podcast. This is Complaints and Observations with Dave LaPointe. Who the hell is Dave LaPointe?
I think he's a bum. I think he's an absolute bum.
All right, happy Wednesday. What's going on? That was a very rambly, nonsensical open, but I honestly, I cracked open the article this morning, like before I started recording, and it was just fresh in my mind. And this was even, I didn't read it last night. I heard about it, but I didn't read it last night, and so, the fact that I've read it this morning and kind of It's just fucking crazy. Oh man. Anyways, how's it going? Listen, I have a lot to talk about today, and this whole Bill Belichick thing just kind of gets in the way. If I'm being honest, and I don't want to talk about it, but I have to. And why do I have to? Because it's fucking fascinating. It's not even bad. Here's the thing, right? It's not bad. It's just fascinating on a bunch of different levels. Like, I understand that you're gonna have some people like, oh, good for Bill, or oh, she fucked the Patriots. A- And here's the thing, right? I don't think any of them are wrong. I don't think there's a right answer or a wrong answer or a bad opinion or a good one on any of this. It's just it's just weird, right? Like it's literally just weird. And it's like you know, when you have a friend who gets a new girlfriend or boyfriend and then like their entire personality becomes wrapped up in this other person. And it's something that I think if you're I don't know anybody who listens to this program who's younger than say I don't know 30 or 35, probably nobody. But I mean, that's something that typically would happen when you're younger. When you're new to like a relationship that you think is good or that you know is good or that you are really into, like that's when that's when shit like that happens where you just become so ensconced in this other person's personality that you almost kind of forget your own. And it makes me wonder if Bill, having spent 50 years focused solely on football and being like so ensconced in football that he never really, even though he was married, even though he had children, even though he's had other relationships, he's never had maybe something like this where someone and look, uh truth be told, like the girl's kind of hot, okay? Kinda. Like she's not like outlandishly gorgeous. She's an attractive girl, and you can call her a girl because guess what? She is. So here's Bill being doted on by a much, much younger woman. And it's like the whole story is interesting. Now, you want to take a look at this from a number of different angles, okay? One is the fact that Bill clearly likes this woman, right? Clearly likes this woman. And so he has become ensconced in her by her personality, and whether or not she's doing anything malicious, which I don't know, you don't know. You don't know until you know. But this Kathleen Rossman of the New York Times, what a fucking deep piece, like in depth piece. Apparently, she came to Bridgewater, which is just funny. Oh boy. I don't know. Like I want to talk more about it, but I can't. Like the number all right, let's talk about the article itself because there's a lot of stuff that just is funny, okay? First, uh Upton Bell. If you're not familiar with Upton Bell, you should be because Upton Bell is literally Patriots history. The guy was a general manager for about a year and a half in the early 70s. And his dad was like he owned a couple of teams. But Upton Bell is roughly 88 years old, yet is still quoted in this article as being a Patriot source, which I find hilarious. Upton Bell was also on WBZ, where he was like a partner of the great Bob Lobel, and he floated around like he was a guy who floated around. And I remember being a kid and being like, "Who the fuck is this guy? He's just on TV all the time." But he was on TV all the time, and it was only later that I kind of um, like learned a lot more about the guy, and he's very interesting. He wrote a book with Ron Borges. Are you familiar? Like this just sounds Boston like media. Like this is the old Toucher and Rich, the Boston Media Sports Lodge. Like Upton Bell is the yeah, he's the keeper of the keys. I think Upton Bell. But the article goes like very deep into into her, which is nice because you kind of get a little bit of a sense of who this girl is and what she's done, which is very limited because she's 24 years old. But she's managed to like weasel her way in to the relations of a legend, like a legit legend. Like longtime high school and college cheerleader, Bridgewater State University alum, which that in and of itself as a local is funny as fuck. Like legitimately funny. But like the article, there's a part like towards the end of the article where the reporter goes she goes to Bridgewater and it's like quote, while she is a source of buzz and fascination on the internet, most of those who know her do not want to talk about her, at least not publicly, end quote. It continues, Bridgewater State students partying at, quote, senior night, end quote, at Emma's Pub and Pizza near campus scurried away when approached by a reporter. Quote, we are not allowed to talk about her, end quote, said one member of the cheer squad before swiftly walking to the other side of the bar. Like, random reporter lady strolls into Emma's downtown like it's this fucking massive bar party, which look, I don't know, maybe senior night is a thing. Like fuck if I know. I'm not a senior. But I found that amusing. And I also find it amusing that no one's saying anything, right? Like usually with people of this age, you're gonna get some uh I don't know, loose lips, if you will. Mm. Oh, that's so childish. Loose lips, that's right. It's both childish and fucking like what a boomer term, loose lips. However, multiple connotations. You would think somebody in her sphere, her circle, her realm of influence would have said something beyond what has already been said about what the relationship is, right? But you haven't because apparently they scurry like ants when uh they make it seem like it's a random like a southern bar when anyone who oh that's just a bad analogy. I'm not even going to use it. But it just makes me I wish I was a fly in the wall when this like well-dressed New York Times reporter comes strolling into Emma's downtown, and then the record scratches, and everybody looks towards the door, and they're all like, "Huh?" and then run away. Oh, that's so good. But like the story is fascinating. Her parents are weird. Her mom is weird. She's a little off. Like there's just so much here, okay? But here's where I'm gonna wrap it up, okay? What effect did she have on Bill while he was still coaching the Patriots, right? Because his last 2 years were un-Bill like. Like his draft sucked. His he was his hand was forced to take Mac Jones when he didn't want Mac Jones. And it makes me wonder if he just laid there. He just laid there and took it because he knew when he was done with his workday, he was going to get to lay there and take it with a very with a very young pageant contestant. But like the efforts this girl has gone through to uh to become part of his life, right? And how she allegedly ruined the Hard Knocks UNC production. Like she was the one that put the kibosh on it. Um, how spending a bunch of time at Gillette, trying to like trademark some of the shit that he said that was already trademarked by the Patriots, with which I thought was kind of funny, which was interesting, and that's a side topic. Like, why the fuck are the Patriots trademarking "Do Your Job"? That's not their shit. Like, come on, get the crap. But that's very WWE-ish, where if you come to WWE and change your name to whatever, they own that name. You don't. Get it? You gotta tie in wrestling somehow. So if you haven't read the article and you have any interest in this, and if you have like any fascination in this, like the rest of us, or like some of us, um, New York Times slash The Athletic. Although I think this was strictly a New York Times piece and had nothing to do with The Athletic, which is, interesting. But yeah, it's just funny. Like she's hobnobbing with European presidents because Bill, Jesus, being of Croatian descent, was given an award for representing Croatia in America. And Bill is a very proud Croatian, as you may or may not know. But she posted a picture of her and Bill with the president. Now, imagine you're the president of Croatia, okay? You're a man in power. And here comes Bill, who is a man in power in a different industry, and on his arm is a 23-year-old pageant contestant. What do you think the president of Croatia was thinking? Fuck yeah, Bill. Represent Croatia. Get some of that. Oh, God, it's just so funny. It is so fucking funny as I bang on the desk. Oh, anyways, so check it out. New York Times, Catherine Roseman or Rossman. I apologize if I've maybe I'll send her an email and see if she wants to come on the show. Bum bum bum. Yeah, I don't think she would want to come on the show. Hey, Catherine, I am a host of a very, very, very small podcast. I want to talk only about your time at Emma's downtown. Oh, that's so funny. I am absolutely going to email this broad and see if I can't get her on the show. 5 minutes. That's all I need. Just 5 minutes of your time. It's like, How busy was Emma's downtown? And how dirty are those tap lines? Nah, I'm not gonna do that. But I'm gonna email her and see if she wants to come on. Anyways, yeah, that's 18 minutes that you assholes are never getting back. Salud. All right, moving on to other things. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I could talk about that for a long, long time. But I'm not going to. So, yesterday, just got home from the great city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Now, as I've mentioned, as I'm sure I've mentioned on the program, my affection for the Rust Belt on previous episodes. In Pittsburgh, another gem. Clean, walkable, ton of great shit to do, and man, a ton of drunks. These people fucking love beer. And they love to drink. And you know what, though? Super nice about it and very well behaved. Unbelievable. If I dare say, if the city of Boston drank to the same level as the people of Pittsburgh, it would devolve into chaos. Why? Because, that's what we do. They like their beer and they can handle it. Wife and I went down to Pittsburgh to see Pearl Jam, the final show of the Dark Matter tour. Phenomenal fucking show as usual. Expected nothing less. I got everything that I had expected and more. Really, really loved the show. Crowd was phenomenal. Great crowd. And it's funny because he did a lot of talking. Eddie did a lot of talking, and it was expected. Like he talked more than he usually talks. I think. Because he usually talks, but I mean, this was a little bit more. There was a bit more to it, and he talked about the whole Bruce Springsteen thing, which was kind of funny. Um, but and if you're not familiar with that, look into what Bruce said when he was in England last week, and then the response by our fearless leader talking about a dried up. He called Bruce Springsteen a dried up prune. What? But of course, he didn't address any of the things that Bruce talked about instead of just shooting him down with dumb petty insults. But that's how they roll. So there you go. Anywho, show was fantastic. Loved it. I'm pretty sure this was like my 35th, 36th show. I don't know. I don't keep track. But man, the building, the PPG Paints Arena, fine building. Nothing super special. It feels like the Garden a little bit. But they had to have been selling beers until at least quarter of 11, maybe even 11 o'clock. Steady stream of beers throughout. Everyone behaved. It was, a bit abnormal for me as a pseudo Bostonian. So, um, I have a lot of Pittsburgh stuff to talk about because a lot of things happened, and sort of your eyes are a bit more open when you're in a new place, and so I think that's what happened here. Now, as I said, first and foremost, right? We had excellent weather. So the weather was great. It was warm. The sun was out. Uh, the first day we got there was we got there Saturday, like late Saturday afternoon. We ended up going, there's a casino right there. Terrific casino, by the way. Rivers something or other casino. But anyway, the area is just really nice. The three rivers, all the bridges, just really, really nice. I didn't realize how, hilly the city limits itself were until you kind of realize, all right, wait, the Allegheny Mountains are in that area, and so that's kind of blah 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 blah. But from the minute you come into the city, um, that old school architecture is present right from when you cross the bridge because the pillars on the bridges are decorative and they're fucking amazing. I wish I had paid closer attention to it, but I didn't. But I mean, the buildings, if you like architecture at all, and I'm not like this architecture nerd by any, but it was plainly evident just driving from the airport to the city, our Uber driver took us off the highway and we went back roads. And the brick houses, you don't see a ton of brick here, but man, brick houses fucking everywhere. And then you get into the city and it's this just like these colossal stone faced buildings. Just unfucking believable. Stunning. The architecture is incredible. And we didn't even get to like the real highlight, which apparently is there's a building on the campus of the University of Pittsburgh. And we had another Uber driver who suggested we go there. We're going to talk about rideshare drivers too today because I learned something or I figured something out. We'll get to that in a bit. But he told us about this building at Pitt that we needed to see, and I didn't get over there. And but the good thing about Pittsburgh is we were there for a reason other than football, so I have a reason to go back at some point. But man, do they love the fucking Steelers? And they also like the Pirates, and we're gonna talk about the Pirates because Jen and I went to a Pirates game, so we'll talk about that in a minute. But there were just so many like weird and random things, and the people were also they were nice and weird and random. But I mean, there's just there's no pretense. They're not pretentious at all. They're just like down to earth, like just normal, nice people. At least from all the people that we encountered. And they like to talk too, which, as someone who doesn't really love people, it's a little weird. But, hey, you're on vacation, you embrace it a little bit. Like, my wife is good at making friends quickly, and it's just a thing that happens to her wherever we go. And like we're on the elevator, like we check in and we're going down after we get to our room, which by the way, smallest hotel room I've ever been in, and I've stayed a couple times in New York City, which has historically small rooms. This room was tiny. Really nice, cool hotel, but we got porked on this room because this thing sucked. But whatever. Anyways, this weird lady is talking about religion on the way down, asking, "Oh, you guys Catholic?" And then she launches into something. And poor Jen was stuck talking to this lady for, I don't know, a solid 5-10 minutes. Turns out the lady had been living in that hotel for 9.5 months or 7.5 months. I'm like, what? That's when I hightailed it out of there. Apparently, I left Jen to kind of fend for herself. I felt bad. But yeah, the people in Western Pennsylvania are a different animal. And I think for the most part they're good. Now, a great example. I am not talking very well today, which is nothing new, just seems like it's worse than usual. A great example of that is one of my wife's coworkers is from that area. Now, I don't think that he listens to this program, because why would he? But apparently, apparently he passed his 68th kidney stone last week. That's right. I did not stutter for the first time ever. 68. That is 6'8" kidney stones. Can you fucking imagine? I can't even imagine one. This fucking animal, 68 of them. What? That's Western PA. Oh man. So that's that has nothing to do with Pittsburgh per se. I wrote it down in my notes and I'm like, all right, I have to mention this because it's fucking wild. It's absolutely wild. Anyway, there are some things about Pittsburgh that are interesting. One, they love French fries. Love French fries, but they hate cooking them. We finally got smart and ordered our fries like well done to actually, I don't know, have them cooked. But every place that we had fries, they were always hand cut fries. Always take a potato, cut it, fries, but always not cooked enough. But they love putting French fries on fucking anything and everything. We did not get to Primanti's. Mainly because every time we came upon Primanti's, we had already eaten, and I was fucking full, and I could not bring myself to eat again. There were a couple of times where I did eat a lot, mainly because I'm fat, but we did not get to Primanti's. So it is something to get to the next time, unfortunately. But a couple places we did go to, there was something on the menu called the Pittsburgh salad, which is basically a salad, and they put fries in it. It's like, what the fuck? Why would you put French fries in a salad? But it's the same as why would you put French fries in a sandwich? The Pittsburgh salad. I didn't get it because it's a salad. But I mean, it was probably full of a bunch of other shit that would have been fine. I did go to this bar in the Strip District, or outside of the Strip District, which is like the cool hip place in Pittsburgh, or one of the cool hip places. It's a bit gentrified, of course, so full of all the usual sucks. See what I mean? The usual suspects in a gentrified area. Of course, there's a Chipotle there. A bunch of foo-foo gyms. A lot of dogs, which was fine. I'm all right with that. But all the businesses, there was a city winery there. There was, I think there was at least one brewery, if not more. Apparently, there was a distillery there that I didn't see. But then when you get outside of like the main strip area, that's where the cool stuff is. That's where the old fish markets are. That's where the numerous bootleg swag shops are. So all the Pirates and Steelers swag, all the bootleggy crap. And there was like 3 or 4 stores, and I didn't buy anything, and we both regretted it the next day, but whatever. Anyways, this place was fucking cool. So, thoroughly enjoyed it. We stopped for a beer at this place called the Beer Hive, and they had a homemade smash burger that legitimately, folks, let me tell you something. This fucking burger was life-changing. I am now rethinking my entire smash burger approach because this thing was fucking unreal. Oh my god, I'm going to dream about it. It was fantastic. They also love bread and butter pickles. I love bread and butter pickles. So guess who's going to start making some bread and butter pickles? Probably this guy. So, there are a handful of little neighborhoods in the city that are um, you know, as with most of cities in America nowadays, very gentrified, where there's just a lot of business and a lot of different things focused around busier places. Now, that is not unlike Pittsburgh, where if you go by Heinz Field or whatever the fuck it's called now, where the Steelers play, um, all done up. Apparently, for some weird fucking reason, Jason Aldean has a bar there. Clown show. We went to a burger joint there called Burgatory, which apparently is a small regional chain. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Ground chuck, ground bacon in the patty. And you could build your own burger. Yup, that's right. It was fantastic. Loved it. But that area was great, right along one of the rivers. Don't ask me who or what. Right across the street from Heinz Field is the Fred Rogers Memorial, which was wonderful. If you like Mr. Rogers or if you have kids, I'm guessing this is probably a cool spot because if you have kids and haven't shown them Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, you're a fucking bad parent. That's right, I'm calling you out. Uh, what else? What else did I want to talk about? But that was like down there. Apparently, they're holding the draft next year there at Heinz Field, and there's like a big sign with a countdown clock, 336 days. It's like, oof, boy, that's gonna get annoying fast, huh? Um, And then where PNC Park is, where the Pirates play, a bunch of good stuff around there, a bunch of bars, handful of restaurants. Not as kind of built up as I would have assumed, to be fair. I would have assumed it would be a little bit more, a touch more, and there's room for it to be. We went to one place called Mike's Beer Bar that was actually pretty good. They had 500 beers allegedly, where they had a bunch of like they really like Trillium at this bar, and I'm not sure. I asked for Trub Light, and they didn't know what I was talking about. Um, but at PPG, nothing around it. And it was like the complete opposite of the other two that I mentioned, where there was just nothing around there. There was one bar that's like attached to the building kind of, which was fucking horrible. It was just not good. And then we went to another place down the street that we tried to get into the day prior, but it was closed, called Cafe Fifth Avenue, and I'm going to call you out because you guys were fucking horrible. Like, not prepared at all. So I don't know if this is like a new venture. It's not a new bar. I don't know if it's a new venture for whoever owns the place, but not good. Staff wasn't great, ill trained. Like the guy who was apparently running the place had his. This girl could not have been any older than 9, like seating people, which was weird. But she seemed to be the only one with a clue because our server had no fucking clue whatsoever, zero clue. Just not just not good. Like, so we ended up going to another place called Shales, which was fantastic. Just great dive bar. Place was packed. There was a guy outside like flipping burgers and dogs on the grill, smoking the whole time. I got a great picture of that. That was pretty funny, but good stuff. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Shout out Shales. Now, we went to a Pirates game. And this is where I'm going to wrap up with Pittsburgh. Just take my word for it when I tell you that Pittsburgh is a fucking great city, okay? Don't be like, oh, Pittsburgh. And yeah, that goes for Scott. Scott mentioned it. I said I had to go to Pittsburgh. And he's like, oh, well, that sounds fucking lame. You're lying. That place sucks. No, dude. Pittsburgh, legit. Great time. Okay? Don't knock it. However, the Pirates, you can fucking knock. One thing that is for sure is that team stinks. They have stunk for a very, very long time. We missed Paul Skeens by a day. He pitched on Sunday. We saw the game on Monday. Paul Skeens goes out on Sunday and pitches a complete game, like 4-hitter, gives up 1 run, and the Pirates lose 1-0. You want to know why? Because that team blows. They have a AAA lineup, and that's probably being generous with a AAA bullpen, a couple of decent starters. Like the kid who started on Monday, can't remember his name. He's okay. He took the loss, but he's okay. They ended up losing 7-1. Like they imploded in the 8th. It was a 1-1 game through 7. Got to the 8th, and that was the end of that. They lost 7-1. But the guy who owns the team, Bob Nutting, Williams grad, comes from money, of course, like all these guys do. Made his money in Pittsburgh. I don't know specifically what he did, but all I know is that he's owned the team for quite some time, and he has not done anything. He built a terrific ballpark, okay? But he had the benefit of being in a great location with a absolutely perfect skyline. If you're on the third base side at PNC Park, it is probably the most beautiful view of in a baseball stadium in the entire country. No hyperbole, right? Just fantastic. And there's a recording playing the entire time that you're there about PNC Park being the best ballpark in America. And you're thinking to yourself, well, that's weird, you know. And then you get inside. Now, look, we paid $38 for decent seats. I probably could have gotten away with paying far less and had no problem doing everything that we did, which is basically just wander around the building, sitting wherever we want. We ended up, I want to say, maybe 15 rows behind home plate for the last like 4 innings of the game. But man, oh man, he just he gets away with it a little bit because of the ballpark. But like I said, it was cheap to get in, but once you get in, it was like fucking Fenway Park. I was blown the fuck away. $16 for a beer, all cans, no draft, right? Which also tells you that he's fucking too cheap to have draft beer because it'd probably go bad. And it would require some effort cleaning lines. I mean, there was probably draft beer, but I didn't see it. Everything else was a tall can, and it was $16 for a tall can. Now, you might be saying to yourself, Dave, that's not bad, $16 for a tall can. It's not. However, um, it shouldn't be that. Like I shouldn't be forced to pay $16 for a tall can that I don't want. Besides, there's nothing worse than a tall can of beer. Nothing. Because by the time you're done with it, the bottom is going to be warm and you're going to be like, oh, what the fuck is gross. Because it is. I'm not going to drink the whole thing. I'm not a fucking giant booze bag like some of you bums. But man, oh man, I just couldn't get over the prices. And then the food prices were just as bad. They wanted $8 for a fucking hot dog. This hot dog was trash. A Fenway Frank, last I checked, is about $7. It's probably more now, but whatever. But it's like, what the actual fuck? Like, they've got such a captive audience there because these people are dying for a good baseball team. Dying. And, like, the number of people that eventually showed up, I mean, who knows if they, even if they paid anything to get in, I don't know. But, like, it wasn't full by any stretch. It wasn't half full. It was probably a quarter full, but it was a Monday night against the Reds, who are not that great. But there was a decent amount of people there, and they just show up to watch a fucking AAA ball club. But it's like, what on earth are you doing? Why are you running your team like this? I know why. Because it's business over ball, always and forever. That's how it is. This is the problem with professional sports, with just sports in general now, because even amateur sports are professional now. They don't care about the product. They don't care about the supporters. All they care about is money. And that's it. And it's ruining sports. Ruining. And this guy is fucking a number one example of that. And he gets away with it because he is the owner of a small market team, so he can fly under the radar, and the only people who are going to know who the fuck he is are the people that live there. But this guy is a fucking world-class piece of shit. And I say that with all the kindness in my heart, but it's like, buddy, you have a captive audience that if your team was good, if you invested something into this team, you would have that place banged out every night. Every night. That's how badly they want a good ball club. That's how badly they want it. I need to Google this, and I'm going to. This is a live Google. Live Google. Let's see what's going on. I need to see what the payroll is. That's who pitched the other night. Mitch Keller. Their payroll is including what do they got? Injured players and all right. So their payroll is 90 million. Oh, that includes minor league ball, injured list, retained salaries. Their active roster, their current payroll for the active roster is about 80 million, which is 21st in the league. The total adjusted payroll allocation is 27th in the league. So they don't pay anything for minor league talent. They don't pay much of anything for major league talent. And they sure as fuck can't bring in talent. Because this roster is fucking horrible. Like, it's just not good. They have a fantastic pitcher in Paul Skeens, who is easily the ace of the staff by a mile and a half, but he's been in the league for a year. And they're getting away with paying him less than $1 million a year, or at least this year. and their stars, quote unquote, like their highest base salary is $15 million, which is Mitch Keller, who currently is rocking like a 4.5 ERA, and then Brian Reynolds, who is another of their stars, 12 million a year, and currently hitting about maybe over. He may be over the Mendoza line. I'm not entirely sure. But I mean, you look at this roster, like, who the fuck's this? Who the fuck's this? They've got Andrew McCutchen on like a farewell tour. He's fine, but he's not even close to what he was before. Not even close. O'Neal Cruz is another guy who's pre-arbitration, so it's like, what's going to happen with this dude? He's not going to be around. Fucking 6'3" shortstop. And it's funny because he's a center fielder, sorry. The dude from the Reds, Ellie De La Cruz, he played, and so you kind of get a good sense of what a giraffe looks like playing shortstop, which was kind of cool. But Cruz didn't play, which is kind of a bummer. So, but like, invest something in your team, do something, make the fans give a shit, right? One way you could do that is what they tried to do, which is the old brick thing. You know the bricks, where you pay for bricks, and your team will put them somewhere at the stadium. It's a good way to raise a little bit of money, but it's also an even better way to give your fans an excuse for thinking that you care, right? So when there's a Honus Wagner statue, which is a depressing fact that you have to put a statue out front of a guy who played during a time when like actual photography was in its infancy, whose famous picture is from his baseball card. So I had no fucking clue what he looked like. You're looking at the goddamn statue and you're like, oh, yeah, okay, I guess that's him. And then there's the statue on the side has like two little boys pointing up, like towards the statue, and one of these fucking kids looks like Mac from Mac and Me, the movie. And I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me with this. Anyways, back to the bricks. So they sold bricks to place in and around the statue to fans from anywhere, right? So my dad's cousin Ken, uh, lifelong Pirates fan. Why? No fucking clue. I think he jumped on the bandwagon in like 1971. I don't know. Anyways, he paid for a brick. So there was a brick there. Well, there was a brick there. Because this fucking jerk off, or as they say in Pittsburgh, jag off, which, he had them dug up because they were, quote, deteriorating, end quote. Probably because he paid, he probably didn't pay enough to weatherproof them or to have them actually be, uh, useful. I mean, because you see them all over the place and they're around forever. Like, they're not going to deteriorate if you're using cheap material. If you're not using cheap material, but it sounds like he's using cheap material. Dug up the bricks, dumped them in a fucking landfill, and only when he was caught did he say, whoops, sorry about that. And now is offering to replace them for people that wanted them to be replaced, likely knowing that a shitload of people may not even know, including my dad's cousin Ken. He had no clue, because why would he? Like, the guy he fucking sucks, and he's killing what is and could be a great product. But he is making money hand over fist every single year by being cheap as fuck. He's letting Ben Cherington, like, stand there and take all the bullets. Fucking bananas. It is so bananas. And it is just example number 12,000. Business over ball. Always and forever. Because they do not care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about fucking anything other than that black number on the bottom of the page. More power to you. It's well within your rights. But you're a fucking scumbag. Just like all of them. Yeah, that went way longer than I than I wanted to. I was very excited to talk about Pittsburgh, so there you go. Um, I also want to talk about just a couple of different things. One, Massport. Now, Massport historically is dog shit. Um, Corrupt as all hell and has been for decades on end, and it's something that I mentioned during the last episode about how shit was going down in the 60s and 70s. But Massport now, yeah, I don't know the ins and the outs, and to be honest, I didn't really care too much about Massport until this past Saturday. We tried to take the Logan Express, which we have always done. My wife takes it all the time when she travels. Um, and so we go to Braintree to park, and the parking lot is closed. They're trying to tell us that the parking lot is full now. Um, Taking it every single time that I've taken this stupid fucking bus, and I hate it. I hate it. Mainly because I don't like buses, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. Never had this happen. And it's weird because now that particular parking lot is managed by a third party. It's no longer managed by Massport. So they have outsourced the parking lot, and suddenly the parking lot is full. What does that tell you? That tells you that they've taken spaces away to make it more, I don't know, manageable maybe for this third party that is entirely absentee. So I go inside, I'm like, there's no way that you don't have any parking spaces. And the kid is like, there's no parking spaces. And look, he's just doing what he's told. He's making $15 an hour probably, and it is what it is. I'm not going to argue with the guy. But my assumption is that they've tracked the number of cars, they tracked the however many parking spaces that they want to have, and then when it hits that number, they shut it down. So now we're forced to drive in and park at Logan Airport. It costs $150 to park the car. To put my fucking car in a space in a garage, it was $150. That is so infuriating. Beyond infuriating, but it just kind of goes with everything else these days. It's everything is designed to fucking squeeze every last penny out of you and I. I don't care how much money you have or how much money you think you have, they're doing it to you too. So, yeah, don't think that you're better than me because $150 isn't that big of a deal to you. Congratulations, I'm happy for you, but it's like fuck yourselves. I just couldn't fucking get over it. Like they've been hammering us. You see ads for Logan Express and all this shit all the time. You see it all over the place. Don't drive. Take the T. Take the commuter rail. Take Logan Express. Yet when you try to, you can't. And good luck trying to get any sort of answer from the parking company or from Massport or anything. I mean, I sent him emails. I sent him a couple of fucking shitty tweets. But like, what the fuck? Don't fucking tell me to do this, that, or the other, and then give me no option to do this, that, and the other. It's fucking rotten. Like, it's absolutely 1000% rotten, and there's zero recourse. Zero. Like, what do you do? You can't do anything about it. Oh, it was just, I don't know, it was one of those things that you sit there and you're like, there's no way this is happening. There's no way that I'm being literally bent over and fucking railed by a faceless entity like Massport. And a faceless entity like I think it's like Metropolis, or whatever the fucking name of the parking company is. Both of you can fuck off. But boy, was I just I was heated. But I mean, what choice did I have? We had to catch a flight. We had all these plans, and now we have to spend more money just to get to the airport. Just to fucking get to the airport, not even to fucking get on the fucking plane. Infuriating. Absolutely infuriating. Flight there was fine. Flight back, listen, Delta, I don't like you. I've never liked you. Like the gate agent was a fucking cunt. Like what for what? Oh, you can't bring your bags on the plane. You wanna know why? Because Delta fucking sucks. Check your bags. Oh, so why? Oh, I know, because you're paying these motherfuckers to handle your baggage. So you don't want to have you don't want them to stand around and do nothing. Got to do something. So all of a sudden, magically, there's no room on the plane. Maybe if you just let people only bring what you tell them that they can bring. Start measuring bags. Start weighing bags. Start actually fucking locking people down when they have like 4 fucking things with them. No, you get to carry one thing and a personal item. So that's purse, a backpack, and your roller bag. That's it. Then we wouldn't have this fucking problem. But we always have this fucking problem. It's fucking stupid. I'm tired. Like I'm physically tired today. And all of this just makes me angry and frustrated and flustered. uh, I have some voicemails. Let's go to those.
So, Dave, with the Celtics out of it and the NBA playoffs dragging on, and much of us probably not caring too much, I just wanted to put my plug in for my real favorite basketball, which is the WNBA. Gone into it a lot last season. I had been watching Caitlin Clark at Iowa the last couple of years, so it was super exciting last year to watch her rookie year. And then as I started watching the games, really kind of got into it, learning the players and all that. And then there's a lot there. Each game means a little more because there's less games in the season, and it's super fun to watch. So, this year the Fever added some other great players, so they're going to be a contender. LA is looking fun to watch because Cameron Brink, the number 2 draft pick last year, the big tall blonde, almost model there, she's back. She was hurt last year, and they also added Kelsey Plum, who's a total badass for the LA Sparks, and they'll be fun to watch. Dallas, Paige Beckers, in addition to Arike Ogunbonwale, who is like their all-star, and they also added Dejounte Carrington from Connecticut. So those are my 3 teams to watch with, and the cool thing is the Fever, you can watch almost every game. They broadcast it nationally, and, Caitlin Clark is iconic there. So it's also fun to watch basketball over the summer. It's kind of, at some point the baseball kind of gets a little worn out, and it's fun to watch these basketball games. So that's my plug for this week. I would suggest checking it out.
I did not have friend of the show Mike being a WNBA super fan. It was not on my bingo card. Interesting call, Mike. The WNBA. I don't have anything against it. I don't watch a ton of it, maybe because in the summertime I'm watching basketball. I mean baseball, or getting ready for football. Here's my thing with the WNBA, right? They don't pay their players enough, and that's something that has come up quite a bit. And my assumption is that as this gets bigger and more popular, which it will be because people are into it, like their numbers just last week, or this week, there was an Indiana Fever game with Caitlin Clark, who we'll get to that in a second. But anyways, it was the highest rated WNBA game ever. And I think it was whatever team Angel Reese plays for, because that's the real story in the league, is this made-up rivalry between these two. And maybe it's not made up. I don't know. Like, I don't know the intricate details of it, but like, Caitlin Clark, good player. But is she better than, I don't know, like what's her replacement value over replacement player? What is Caitlin Clark's VORP? I'm guessing it's pretty high, if that's even a thing. I don't know, but um, I mean, something tells me that you could have another point guard do half of what she does, and that you'd be fine if you're putting your resources in other parts of the team. I don't know. I don't know because again, I'm not pretending to be a WNBA aficionado like Mike, who Mike rattled off at least one player that I don't know. Like whoever Dallas got from Connecticut. Yeah, I don't know who that is. I do know that the Connecticut Sun basically fucking traded their entire goddamn roster away, which was interesting because they were good, but they never won anything. Guess they got close a couple times, but I think they might have won the championship one time. But I don't know, Mike. Feel free to be the WNBA correspondent for the show. So feel free to call in with very brief weekly updates on the league and what's happening. I'd be very interested. And if it comes up and it's something that I see, then I'd be happy to talk about it. But there is a story about the guy who owns the Suns apparently was dipping his wick into his WNBA team with this very statuesque blonde. And I'm not sure if that's the statuesque blonde that Mike was referring to, but yeah, the guy that owns the Suns apparently was cheating on his wife with, um, one of his players, which is like, all right, buddy, you can't be doing that. But business over ball, as I've been saying, and yeah, he needed to get some business done with this female. So that's a hot story in the WNBA. Players fucking the owners. Ugh, I'm sure it's not the only one. In fact, I'm rather certain it's not the only one, even if it hasn't really been reported. My guess is that it's, you know. Uh, but the timing of Mike's phone call, where he starts off talking about the Celtics, I do need to briefly mention the Celtics. Now, there are a handful of reasons that I think they lost. Okay, first and foremost, they couldn't hit their shots in the first two games, like historically bad. As I mentioned in last week's show, I thought for sure that they would remedy a bit. They did. They won game, what, 5, without Jason Tatum, who blew out his Achilles. And so, it's just I can't, I don't want to hear anybody telling me that the Knicks beat the Celtics. They beat them in game 6, and they beat them badly for a multitude of reasons, right? But like, the fact that Porzingis was not at all healthy, like not even close. And I've read a little bit about like what his ailment was, and apparently it's some sort of viral thing that may or may not be true. I don't know. But so there's that. There's um the fact they couldn't hit any shots, and then the fact in game 5 and 6 they didn't have their best player. So I still don't think the Knicks are any great shakes. Like, could they beat Indiana? Yeah, of course they could. But then I think they're going to get their doors blown off by Oklahoma City, who blew the doors off of the Timberwolves last night. But I can't. I'm not going to sit here and listen to this bullshit about how the Knicks beat the Celtics. The Celtics beat themselves, and they beat themselves badly. And if you want to make that argument, then I'm with you. But now all this, and this is the part about living around here when these conspiracy theories just get fucking wild. Now you've got this shit about, well, they should trade Jaylen Brown for Cooper Flag. It's like Dallas has already made one stupid trade. They're not going to make another. Would I listen to that? Of course. Do I think it would happen? Absolutely not. But the thing of it is, you're trading a known entity for an unknown entity. Cooper Flag looks like a good player. Looks like he could play. Is he going to be Jaylen Brown? Who the fuck knows? I don't know. But there's so many people in this town who fucking hate Jaylen Brown because he's smart. He's smart and black, so people don't fucking like him. Like, grow the fuck up, will you? God. There are times where I don't like Jaylen Brown because I hate the way he fucking dribbles. It drives me fucking bonkers. It's like, dude, how do you not realize that your left hand is not great? His whole offseason should just be him dribbling with his left hand. And his left hand only. The only reason you would trade Brown is because he makes the most money in the NBA. Or at least he did. I don't know if he still does. You get that off the books and you start over, especially since you're not going to have Tatum. But, to trade Brown, I don't know. You would need more. I think you need more than just the number one pick. I don't know what else you can get from Dallas. Not much. But, I mean, that would make him a good team. Brown, Irving, Anthony Davis. I'm sure they've got some other plays there. Who knows? But it would clear Brown's money off the books. It would allow them to kind of do like a half tank without Tatum. You're going to have Porzingis for one more year unless you trade him, which you might. I think they try to trade Holiday. They could keep Derek White. They could try to keep Horford for maybe another year. But it wouldn't surprise me if he retired. He's going to be 39. But it's going to be a very interesting Celtics offseason. It's going to be, how are they going to manage the salary cap? How are they going to get under the apron? I don't fucking care about that. I don't care. Like, why is that an argument? Why is that even not an argument? Why is that a discussion? Oh, how much money is the random billionaires that own the team? How much are they going to play? I don't fucking care. I don't care what they pay. They bought the team. Now it's their responsibility. If they don't want to, if they don't want to pay it, say it, and then tell us what you're going to do. However, again, they're not going to. I hate this phrase, but it's so apt. Like business over ball. It's so real. I don't fucking care. I don't care about your finances, man. And no fan should. Like this whole obsession with salaries and cost and money, like enough. It has nothing to do with the sport. It has nothing to do with your team. It has everything to do with the owners. But this country is so fucking stupidly obsessed with rich people. I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. Now we're going off into a tangent. Yeah. All right, moving on. All right, cutting this short. Mainly because I've been ranting. It's not really. It hasn't had the usual cohesion, but it is now time for everyone's favorite part of the program, the end, and 3 gripes. There's going to be 4 gripes. I'm making an executive decision. 4 gripes. Gripe number 1: bad tattoos. Now, here's my thing with bad tattoos. Okay, it is. You can have a bad tattoo if you want. Like that is entirely up to you, right? You're an adult usually, but it's the tattoos that you get at a young age that are always problematic. So we're sitting in a restaurant. No, we're at a bar. I'm sorry. This is pre-Pirates game, and we're sitting at this bar, and I look over, and there's a server. Or I'm fairly certain that she is a server. She could be a bus person, but I'm guessing a server. She had a tattoo on her neck with dotted lines. And then underneath were the words "cut here." Yeah. Like this is probably my biggest boomer take ever. But ma'am, uh how do you expect to be gainfully employed with that on your neck? Are you going to wear a turtleneck? How do you expect to get a job in an office with that tattoo? Well, you don't, because you've made that choice, right? You've put yourself in a box. You are not going to work any kind of job in a professional setting ever with that tattoo. You're not. I'm sorry. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how gifted you are in any particular field. Um, it's not going to happen. Though, in fairness, it may. Who the fuck knows? I don't know. But man, I mean, I looked at it and I said, "There's no way this is real." It was real. It looked like kind of a prison tattoo, which it very well could have been. But why would you do that to yourself? Like, what? How little self-respect do you have if you're deciding to put that on your body? Fucking wow. Like, there's ugly tattoos, there's stupid tattoos, and then there's just flat out bad tattoos. And this was flat out horrible tattoo. And I kind of felt bad, but I don't, because it's a choice you made, so I can't feel bad. But God, what a fucking, that's just stupid. Gripe number 2, talking at the urinal. I don't even know, like, if I don't know you, don't make a conversation while I have my dick in my hand. Even if I do know you, shut the fuck up. Sidle up to a urinal. There's only 2, right? In this particular example, there's only 2 urinals in this restroom. So I get in there. I'm doing my business. A gentleman comes in shortly thereafter, and he decides he's going to use the one right next to me, even though the stall is unoccupied. Except now he's in one of like the child height urinals, because again, there's only 2, and apparently, in a bar, you need to have a urinal that can accommodate a child. Why? For what fucking reason? If you have a kid in the bar, bring them into the stall and piss in a toilet where he's used to pissing. Now you're bringing him to this foreign urine receptacle. Until you can get on a roller coaster, you shouldn't be using a urinal. Till you're tall enough. Oh, God. And then this fucking guy starts talking like, well, geez, why do they put these in here? I don't know, dude. I'm just trying to fucking pee. That's it. And then they get mad when you, like, don't want to be fucking friends with them at the urinal. Oh, so sorry. Yeah. Apology not accepted. Because this is one of the rules of being a guy is you're not talking to other guys at the urinal. And you know these people, you've seen them, they're fucking awful. Shut the absolute fuck up. Shut up. And just fucking piss and move the fuck on. Gripe number 3, drive-by hand washing. Here's my other fucking problem, right? To me, you don't need to wash your hands every time you're in a fucking urinal or in a bathroom. You don't, unless you're fucking pissing all over your hands. Like, what kind of slob are you? Like, is your dick that unclean that you need to wash your hands every time you touch it? I hope not, because it's fucking gross. Wash your dick. Oh, but you're in the bathroom. You gotta wash it. No, you don't. Grow the fuck up. But the worst part is the people who go in there and then they'll like stick their hand under the faucet, and get like 3 drops of water, wipe their, put their hands together, and then move on. Like, well, you've made the decision to go to the sink. Why don't you actually wash your fucking hands? This half measure, it's not even a half. It's like a quarter measure. But then these are the same people who won't dry their hands after they've done the drive-by hand washing, where they just, getting their hands wet and then they wipe it all over their fucking pants. Wait, what? What? Sometimes I really wonder, like, why such petty shit gets under my skin, and I don't know. It's annoying. It's annoying to be so annoyed at everything. But like, man, I don't need to fucking wash my hands every time I step into a bathroom. It's not necessary. All you're doing is washing your hands for the sake of washing your hands. You're not doing it because your hands are dirty. Again, unless you're fucking fondling your cock in there and planning to like share a hot dog or something, like, what the fuck are you doing? This should be a well-oiled machine. And then to top it off, a lot of these places have, hand sanitizer at the exit. Use some of that if it really bothers you that much. Or commit to washing your hands fully instead of the drive-by hand washing. God, that's so petty, isn't it? 187 plus times I've done this over the course of the last 5 years. And if I recall correctly, this may very well be the 5-year anniversary program. Maybe I'll do that next week. There's a big market tease for you. Next week, well, actually, I don't know about next week because I might not be in. No, I'll fucking be here next Wednesday, the 5-year anniversary of complaints and observations. And then, so to top it off, gripe number 4, racial stereotyping of rideshare drivers. This is something that I learned, probably not this past trip, but I don't use them that often when I'm home. I'm not using Uber or Lyft when I'm at home, unless I'm, if I'm at work and I need to get to, say, the barbershop or to the airport or whatever. That's the only time. So it's rare. But I've learned that when I get a white guy, Uber or Lyft driver, it's almost a guarantee that that guy's not going to shut the fuck up the entire ride. Nonstop talking and probably a hint of weird racism. And then, if I get a driver who's not white, it's probably just going to be a ride. And that's it. And you know something? That's what I want. I don't want any of this. Now, look, that's not to say that, that some of these people aren't nice. Some of them are. But it just strikes me that every single time I get a white guy, this dude does not stop talking. Every time. The guy that picked us up from the airport did not stop talking. Like, he was literally telling stories for the entire half-hour drive about his fucking grandkids, his kids, like local sports, like what he used to do. He was like pushing his own fucking agenda all over the place. Perfectly fine guy, whatever. Before the, dabbling in the subtle racism, before all that BLM shit started happening. All right, there it is. It was bound to happen, and he brought it up. I don't know. Do I have that look on my face of, yeah, you can be racist around me? I don't know. Is that what's like printed on my face? But this fucking guy, starts talking about his son and his concealed carry license. Like, all right, I don't care about any of this stuff, pal. I just want you to like point out things in town, maybe make a suggestion for a place to eat, and then drop me the fuck off. Like, that's it. I don't need any of this other stuff. One guy picked us up. He's listening to a podcast, Civil War Stories. Like, oh man. Turns out he was from New Hampshire. So he, had to start talking about the Patriots and how much he loves the Red Sox and the Bruins and the Celtics and the Patriots. Okay, all right, fine, whatever. But, then he had to drop, it's a great city. It's surprisingly great for a democratically run town. Like, there it is. Maybe not racism, but, had to drop politics in there somewhere because they all do. People that make politics their fucking entire personality, you're a fucking loser. Honestly, get a hobby or just read a book. But then you get the guy named Krishna, an Indian gentleman. You get into his perfectly clean RAV4 for your half-hour ride to the airport. And you know what he does? He drives fast so that he can get there quickly. You know what he says to you the entire time? Nothing. Until he's helping your bags out of the trunk, says thank you, and you move on with your day. The perfect ride-share relationship right there in a nutshell. I want to be able to put in my profile, no white drivers. Oh, God, that's so bad. And look, it's not to say that every white driver I've ever had has been super chatty. It's just that the odds of them shutting up are less so. And I dare you to tell me I'm wrong. I dare you. Because you know full well that I am right. It's not often that I'm right, but in this instance, I am spot on. That's it for the show. I don't know how long this one went. I don't care. I do know that I'm wrapping up a little bit earlier than I typically would. Probably because I start a little bit earlier. But next week, the 5-year anniversary show. Yay! I'll probably have nothing to talk about. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about the history of the program. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about the ongoing saga of Bill and Jordan. I'm going to call her Jordan. Because apparently that's what everyone calls her, according to Pablo Torre. Listen to Pablo Torre Finds Out. Download it on just about all the other places that you can get this crap. And I assure you, it's a much better podcast than this. Impeccably produced, mind you. With money-making ads, which I don't have. But listen, you can call the show, 617-804-1577. Call in. Oh, sorry, 1557. Fuck, you're an idiot. 617-804-1557. Call in, complain, share an observation. What's on your mind? What do you want to talk about? Maybe next week we'll get a full update on the start of the WNBA season from Mike, our favorite caller. Maybe we'll get a wrestling update from our wrestling correspondent Scott. It was kind of I didn't watch any this week. Like didn't watch Monday, didn't watch this past Friday. So yeah, I am way out of the loop. So Scott, feel free to be the wrestling correspondent. Mike will be our WNBA correspondent. I need more correspondence. 617-804-1557. I am on Instagram at ComplainsPod. I am on Facebook, but seriously, fuck Facebook. Like, really, with a fucking big rubber, like, with like a 14-inch rubber dildo. Fuck Facebook. Man, they are a fucking shit company. And we're stuck. Like, we're all fucking stuck with some form of shitty social media, either Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, which is a fucking disaster. But I'm on Twitter at ComplaintsPod. Apparently, I'm on YouTube. I should investigate that a bit more, though nobody wants to see my fucking fat, disgusting face. So I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna do that. Where else am I? I don't even know. But listen, as always, please, I beg you, tell your friends. The downside of being a podcast is that sometimes the people that listen to your show don't have any friends. Kidding, love you guys. But honestly, tell your friends or tell random strangers. Tell them to listen to the show. Maybe I'll get that girl from. Listen to me. Maybe I'll get that girl. What? No. Maybe I'll get that reporter from the New York Times. Maybe she'll. Maybe she'll read my email after she's had a few cocktails, and she's like, you know what? Why the fuck not? I doubt it, but we'll see. But yeah, as always, please take care of yourself, take care of each other. Godspeed. Ta ta.